There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with even more exclusive content that you can't find anywhere else. Like over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music ad-free. Root for your team anywhere you are. Get news from every source. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars and what's going on right now. And now your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home on devices like smart TVs, connected speakers, and more. For the first time, create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Enjoy a backstage pass to your favorite shows with SiriusXM Video, including Howard Stern and more. The best part? It's all included in your all-access trial subscription. Start enjoying it all in your vehicle, on your phone, online, and at home today. What you love is on now.
Introducing CMA Industry Week Spring Showcase 2021, a multi-day online event slated for March 22nd to April 1st, featuring all the major Canadian 12-volt electronics distributors presenting in both English and in French. The schedule will feature in-depth interviews, training sessions, keynote speakers, product unveilings, and much more. Access to CMA Industry Week will be completely free for all retailers and industry professionals. Choose to watch both live or on demand. Stay connected by visiting CanadianMobileAudio.com/industry week.
What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Ben Wu, for this special edition of CMA Live, presented by SiriusXM, of course. We're coming to you from KnowledgeFest West live this weekend. We're day 3, final day, and we thought we'd take this opportunity to kick it off with, you know, something a little bit more interesting, something a little bit different, and that is a roundtable format. Like, I had the chance to do one of these during the last KnowledgeFest Live, and that was super fun, where I got, you know, a selection of some of the best retailers that were nominees for the Retailer of the Year award, and we had some great dialogue. But on today's show, we really rounded up an eclectic group of individuals that I think can only be the formula for a really entertaining next 30 minutes. So for those of you joining us live, thank you very much. And for those of you who may be watching this on demand, strap in, because this is about to get fun. So let's not waste any time, because we are limited with time. We're going to start off with the gentleman who even offered this great opportunity for us to come on, and that is, of course, the president of the Mobile Electronics Association himself, Mr. Chris Cook.
Hey, good to see you, Ben.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. It's the last day of KnowledgeFest Live, and you know, the opportunity to be able to do something like this, I think, is not only informational but super fun to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was kind of nice being on the other side of the chair and getting interviewed rather than interviewing. So thank you for the opportunity. I sure enjoy it. Great way to relax.
What do you think of our guest that we have lined up for tonight?
Oh, fantastic guest. Who do you have?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Why don't we get him on so we can get this discussion going? First up on as one of our guests, I had him on when we featured influencers for CMA Live. Of course, if you've probably watched his videos, if you're into 12 volt, he is a serious influencer within our community, and we thank him for that. His name, of course, is Dean Beyett, representing 5 Car Stereo.
Hey, how you doing? How's it going?
May the force be with you as usual, sir.
Always.
I do recognize a couple new accoutrements in your background. You know, especially that red trooper helmet there. That's new.
Yeah. My wife hates me.
We love you, and we're happy to have you on today.
Thank you.
Up next, we also have a man who basically needs no introduction. He is the Director of Training and Events for AAMP Global. He's been in the game longer than, well, you know what? He'll probably be mad at me if I age him. So, yeah, we got Jeff Smith in the house, or the Jeff Smith. What's going on, Jeff?
What's up, Ben? How you doing, man?
Oh, man, fantastic. Happy to have you on. This is already, you know, looking so good, but we're going to add one more curveball in this mix. So just for the folks watching, the way I envision this show is about perspectives and having different types of perspective. We've got Chris up here. Sorry, this way. Chris up here, who's obviously MEA, producer of KnowledgeFest and Mobile Electronics Association and Mobile Electronics Magazine, so media, right? Then we got Dean down here, which is influencer, right? Social media king, YouTube, crazy, crushing it. And then we got Jeff representing AAMP from a manufacturer and a training level, right? So who am I missing? Of course, I'm missing a retailer. So what better to bring on our good friend who represents such an establishment, Traffic Jams Motorsports. It's the general manager himself, Mr. Ron Venable. Welcome, Ron.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, Ben? Thanks for having me.
Well, we are very happy you made the time to be with us because you are representing every single retailer there is in the country today. No pressure, though.
No pressure.
All right, guys, listen, we don't have a tremendous amount of time, so we're going to dive right into it. We prepared a couple of questions that this is going to be a roundtable format, so everybody would have access and be able to put some input towards these questions. And the first one I want to start off with is relevant right now, and that is, of course, everything that we're experiencing through COVID and all that. It has changed. It has fundamentally changed so many things within our 12-volt industry. So my question to all of you is, what trends and adjustments do you envision making, or have you already, in fact, made major changes on your business for 2021 and beyond? And with that, I'm going to let's go with Jeff Smith on this one from a manufacturer standpoint. How has this affected everything from a manufacturer standpoint?
Well, from a manufacturer standpoint, the last year and few months has been extremely difficult for us to, number one, have product issues, reaching our core customers and being able to get them the information that we need. So we've around the board, lots of manufacturers have gone to online training formats and creating a library of this information so that dealers have a easy way of getting new information and constantly feeding as much new information on new products as possible. So this is something that all of us around the industry have had to adapt to, instead of being face to face and seeing each other at all the different industry events, whether it be, the different K-Fest events or CES or SEMA and things like that. So just this impersonal virtual world that we're living in right now is what we're having to deal with currently.
That is the obvious one. I can see that, especially as a trainer, Jeff, being able to connect one-on-one with who you're training in person obviously makes a big difference, and fighting for that bandwidth and connectivity is tough when it comes to a retailer like Ron. So you heard what the manufacturer saying. They're having a hard time trying to figure out how to train you. How do you feel about that, and where do you see changes based on what's happening, Ron?
First and foremost, it has definitely impacted our business in one way or another. We've had to adjust in so many different ways, from not letting customers come in to whether or not we're going to open or not. So there's been, that was the first, the first kind of wave of what we needed to do. The second wave came in as we started to, open up a little bit, or not even a little bit. We really didn't shut down, but as we started getting back to letting people in, was the issue that Jeff just said. We were having a hard time with inventory. We were fortunate enough to have stocked a lot. So for the first few months, 6 months, we were okay. But then, we knew the product was running low because there was other dealers calling us, and to a point of an abundance where we were like, well, we're getting low. So we had to really, kind of ratchet down what we were handing out. But product was probably the main thing. We have been in COVID more busy than we've ever been. So as far as business-wise, it's been a little bit overwhelming. And I think that talking to other dealers, they're pretty much really busy as well. But again, you have the business, but you don't have the product. It kind of goes hand in hand. So it gets hard to finish all these projects.
Has that affected the way you're buying now?
Oh, absolutely. The minute that you hear that somebody has product, you try to buy as much as you can because you know what you've just been dealt with. So if you get more product, then a month down the road, it won't happen again if you can stay a little bit more steady.
Now, obviously, Chris Cook, this has impacted you tremendously, obviously, from having such successful shows, having that momentum coming into 2020 as well with the last shows that you did last year. Let's hear a little bit about what you've had to do to adjust and share your side of the story.
Well, we're sitting right here, on an adjustment that we had to make, and that's to go virtual. And many trade shows have gone virtual. Some just are gone. But we knew that it was important to stay in front of all the retailers. Early on, we spent a lot of time helping people out with PPP and EIDL and, business management, crisis management, just making sure everybody was stable, all of our members and the industry at large. But, in general, we had to look inside and go, well, what do? We can't meet, but we need to meet. And, virtual, I'll be the first one to say, I don't like it. But you know what? In the absence of zero, it's great. I mean, I know Jeff has done, lots of, trainings. I know Dean, he's on the video pretty much 2 or 3 times a week. And it's how you're connecting with people right now. And it's very hard because when you're sitting in front of a camera, you're talking to yourself. There's no interaction. I can't, clink a drink. I can't, shake a hand. I can't hug a neck. There's just no real connection. This virtual stuff is just not the same. But, we had to shift our business. So we did what we needed to do. We put together an event for the West Coast folks that said after our first one that, hey, it'd be great if we could do something on, our time zone. So we did it for them. And, we're looking forward to being back on the West Coast in person next year. So it's been tough. I mean, Ben, you did a great job putting on our awards. Without you, I don't know if we would have had an award.
Well,
so,
I appreciate it. I know Ron appreciates it anyways. Ron appreciates it.
Yeah. So, I mean, what getting those videos together, I mean, I don't know if you knew, but when I did the awards, I couldn't hear or see anything. Okay. Yeah. Everything was black. And, other than looking at the presentation, I had Ben in my ear telling me, go to the next slide. It was a different element, but, it wasn't professionally done. But you know what? It was great for our industry, and everybody got to connect. Everybody got to get, their awards.
I think the takeaway message, Chris, is we all had to pivot, and we all had to pivot without any hesitation because we knew business had to continue. So we all had to do what we had to do. In your case, you're talking about pivoting, changing format, trying to keep the branding in front of, people's faces to keep it going in hopes that this would pass. But while some of you had, obviously, Ron had mentioned that there's a boost in business, there's for sure. But Dean is like the busiest man I've seen on social and on YouTube and all that stuff. So have you seen, Dean, based in the last year, a difference or an impact on what you were doing, and how is that affecting you?
I mean, there's definitely the numbers are up as far as the amount of views that you get. They're up about 1/3. So there's definitely a lot of people consuming the content we're creating. So, I mean, we had a boom on the social side because even though the industry as a whole, we're creating all this online content now that we didn't have, like Jeff doing his thing and all the other manufacturers, the consumers don't see that. And so they're not going to weekend shows. They're not going to hang out with their buddies. They still want to be interested. They still have an interest in car audio. And so they're going to places where it's at, and it's on the internet now. So they're there, and, there's a core group of guys that they'll go to everyone's show each week, and it's like it's wonderful. So yeah, it's still been a lot.
Well,
it hasn't slowed down.
There's no question about it. It's evident in everything that you're putting out. But on that topic, we're talking about content, and we're going to switch gears real fast because everybody is in a rush, in a hurry because they realize now that there's so much not in person. There's got a lot of virtual opportunities you got to go to. So I'm going to circle back to Jeff Smith on this. What have you been doing as far as content creation, or what plans do you have? Because obviously that's playing a really critical role right now.
Right. So for what we did at AMP, we pretty much, I should say me, because I do all the training. I try to focus on one-on-one dealer training. It's a lot easier for me to deal and to get feedback from a dealer one-on-one versus doing the big broadcast trainings that a lot of the other manufacturers do weekly. For me, it's definitely more beneficial because dealers typically in big trainings don't ask a lot of big crazy questions for afraid of looking silly or, seeing like they're behind the times. So one-on-one training, send a shop lunch or, dinner or whatever after hours has been a really big thing for me. But we're also working on creating a library of trainings with a new venture that's happening in our industry. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, that's pretty much our game plan like a lot of the other manufacturers have been doing. Weekly trainings, they build up all these trainings, and we're going to put them into a central location so that anyone can have these trainings on demand.
How about from a retailer perspective, Ron? I mean, that's a different thing because Jeff's looking at it from a national standpoint. He's got dealers everywhere. You got to focus on your neighborhood because that's where your customers are. So what are you doing as far as content to attract them or to keep engaged with them?
Well, obviously you got to keep an interest. We started doing a little bit differently. So when we're working on a car, we can take pictures, post pictures. We can give them updates on what's going on currently with their vehicle. And I think that engages the people more because they're actually enjoying the updates instead of having a call. Hey, how's it going? What are you doing? Where's my car? What does it look like? You kind of just give them updates, even if it's something that you're doing in one day. But then not only they can see that, but so can everybody else. And when everybody else sees that content on Facebook, on Instagram, then they can say, oh, yeah, they do that work over there. A lot of people, we do a lot of things that a lot of people don't know. Obviously, car audio being our mainstay. But, we do a lot of performance mechanical, wheels and tires, lift kits. I mean, so we do a lot. And we have to show that we do those things. Otherwise, people don't come. So content is king there. And when you say content, it's about the projects and the work that we've been working on, whether it's window tint, whether it's tire rotation, whether it's one of the coolest audio systems that we've done. You just got to post it so that people can see it. Now,
do you have somebody like that is in charge of that full time, or how does that work?
We share it. So, myself, Jamil, he helps. The guys up front help a lot. Brett helps. He does a lot of the write-ups. I'm good with pictures. I'm good with posts, but taking the time to physically write up the whole deal, it takes a little bit more effort. And in today's world right now, we're really busy. So that time, sometimes I can see, man, must have been busy last week because we didn't do but 4 posts or 5 posts, and typically we'd do 10.
Right. So it's basically, it has to be part of the protocol when it's possible, because otherwise you're just going to fall behind. And that's the thing with content. Before I go to Chris, I'm going to circle back to Dean on this. Content is king. You're putting out, how many fingers were you putting before?
6.
6. Yeah. 6 times. That's that's lunacy. But how important, do you feel that pressure that you need to be on it that hard, Dean?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, we had a show we did on Instagram called 5 Minutes with 5-Star before COVID happened, and then we kind of let it slack, and we didn't really pay much attention to it. But then, once COVID came out, and everyone wanted to be more like, what's going on? What is everybody okay? What's going on? So we brought the show back, and what it's turned into is that a lot of the customers that come into the store, they know who we are. That's why they're there. And so just like he was saying, it's an update for their cars. So a lot of these guys will be like, we'll show what we've done in the car we're working on in the install bay, and we'll answer some questions. We'll do some other stuff. But when they come and pick up their car, they're like, oh, no, I know. I already saw it all. I already watched the video. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, could you at least let me go through the motions so I feel, special? Or,
right.
Look what we did.
But do you feel that there's extra pressure to do even more, or are you feeling like you're there right now? Like, that's what you got is what you're
no, we're never. Jeff knows me. I'm never happy.
Yeah.
It's always there's always that next step, and my brain is one that it's all right. We're doing this. That's fine. It's done. Now what? So we're always looking for the next pitch, the next thing that we need to be doing in order to get that content out, or get that perspective out, or get that customer in the store.
All right. So, that's a perfect segue to you, Mr. Cook. From a promotional standpoint, content, you have the magazine. What adjustments are you doing? What focus shift? What's the plan?
Well, the first Knowledge Fest, we had about 65 hours of content over 3 days. And then we found that was just too much. It was too much all at one time. And a lot of people went back and watched things after, which is something people have asked for many times. And being able to watch those and use it as a resource is great. So all that content's there, and we're going to archive that content. So we'll continue to build that, as Jeff said, kind of a central location for all the education that goes on in our industry. There's as he's talking about, there's one that's going to house a lot of the manufacturer training. We're going to be housing a lot of the industry education. And we brought this one down to about 45 hours, which seems to be a sweet spot. And, again, I got you down to 30 minutes, and none of our sessions are over an hour. Because frankly, when you're sitting in a chair, over an hour is a long time. So, we've had to find the best way to deliver the content, and delivering the content is hitting all the high spots. And that's something I don't like as much, because when we're at KnowledgeFest, you've got a much longer time to have a session and get feedback and interaction and questions throughout. And it's just a different dynamic for learning when you're in person. And then there's, getting together at the bar at lunch and talking about what you just learned. And then, sharing ideas. None of that can happen in a virtual. I mean, everybody can say it will happen in virtual, but frankly, it just doesn't work in virtual. No matter what you do, it's just not the same. So I'm looking forward to meeting as many of you folks as I can down in Orlando come the end of June, when we kick off our first in-person after COVID.
All right. A quick shift, guys, because we have about 10 minutes left, and this is really an important one that I wanted to dive into. One of the hot topic buttons that's really making the rounds within the 12-volt community is the theme or idea of store culture. Okay, store culture, it could be brand culture, but really what that means is it's the buy-in of that initiative or that identity, right, from the top to the bottom, everybody involved, right, front to back, the whole team. So how important is that store culture concept, and what are you doing about it right now to ensure that your team has the buy-in and can be successful moving forward? I'm going to start with Dean on that one.
Ouch. I mean, for us, we have a small team. It's just 3 guys. It's so everybody has to be on board. We all have to be on the same page. We all have to be drinking the same Kool-Aid. We all have to be thinking the same thoughts, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. But I mean, the 5-star brand is the brand that we run with. It's everything, it's like the meticulousness of it. And just for us, it's just, we all have to be on the same page. And, it's kind of a weird dynamic because the owner is not me. A lot of people think I own it, and I don't. I'm actually just the head tech in the back, but I've had to put myself out in front to be, I guess you'd call the store culture. So everything that happens there is derivative of what I've put out, and it's not the owner deciding what, and it's not Fernando deciding what. So we all just kind of, it's pressure for an installer for sure, because it's like, this ain't my baby, but I'm the one that's got to burp it and make sure it's got a clean butt. So, it's tough. I mean,
is it something that you're conscious of, that you guys are always working on? Is it top of mind?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's always do better. 100% always do better. I see all the flaws, and I see all the headaches, and I see all the problems. And for me, it's always trying to address those, because I want the customer's experience to be the best that it can when they walk in the door. And if it's not, it becomes an issue for me. So, making sure that everybody gets that experience doesn't always happen. And that's hard on me personally, because it's like, I'm the face, I'm the one responsible for this, and you're not holding up the weight. So, and
might I add, not just from the store perspective, but also from your media presentation perspective.
So the media, the media is actually a different business. So we've actually split the company into 2. So 5-star as a retail establishment is Paul's. The media aspect of it is actually mine. That's a whole nother company that I own. So it's like, that becomes a weird dynamic too, because he gets the benefits of what we create over here. So it's really odd. It's like nothing else, but we had to do that because there was just too much getting done.
Right.
It was too much, and there had to be leaders in different categories. So it was like, all right, you can have this. That's yours. We'll work for you. And then, Fernando does good because he works for both of us.
But it certainly creates a unique situation. But if we contrast that to maybe Jeff Smith's perspective, AMP Global, huge company.
Huge
global
company. Yeah.
What about brand culture when it comes to that?
So our brand culture is a lot more involved. Like Dean said, going from 3 to well over 300 is extremely difficult because you have all these different departments that have to work together in unison. We have to be in sync in order to get an idea from paper to an actual physical product into Traffic Jams or into 5-star, right? So we have to have product planning, manufacturing, the marketing team, sales team, everything working in unison, and everyone has to be rowing in the same direction. Because if we have a product that launches, right, and then that product just sits on the shelf and we don't get the information out to our retailers, they won't know that the product's available. They don't know a solution is available to sell to their customer, and it becomes a fail on our end. So we have to all work together in a cohesive effort in order to get everything out to the end user, to make the end users, think about a product on social, to helping a retailer have the idea of what they can put on their social media and educate their employees on how to sell it and actually what the product is, and then be able to come to these industry events and be able to train everyone on what the product is, how it's associated to whatever type of business, and how to sell it, apply it, install it. So it's definitely one of those things where we have to be all in no matter what for every brand that we have under our AMP umbrella.
It's a balancing act about being that technologically advanced and efficient big company, but come off to your customer as a small company that offers that personal touch and be able to pivot on the demand of the customer.
We're trying to figure out how to burp Dean's baby. So
he has a clean butt. Chris, brand culture, KnowledgeFest, MEA, ME Mag. Talk to us about what the.
I want to hear from Ron first.
Oh, you want to hear from Ron? But I'm saving Ron.
I'll wrap it up, but I want to hear Ron.
All right, we're gonna go to Ron. So Ron, what you know about store culture, man? No, okay, but for real,
I don't know nothing.
Congratulations, first of all, winner of the Store Culture Award for last year's Emmy Award. So you're not here just because of you're a handsome man, but also because you know some about store culture. So we want to hear from the horse's mouth what is going on at Traffic Jams Motorsports. What is your ideology behind the importance of store culture?
Well, the first and foremost, obviously, thank you guys for all that we've done, because last year's KnowledgeFest with the awards being live, it was exciting. It wasn't as exciting as it would have been in person, but it still was exciting, and we're very thankful that you guys put that together. So thank you guys for that, you two guys, and all the industry guys as well, because we all have to participate to even make it worth being there. But store culture, it starts off with what your store is about. So first and foremost, Jamil Whitty is the owner. And what he does, he's a visionary. Not only is he a visionary, but he actually puts hand and foot into it. So when an idea comes up, he's there, he's working, he's doing all the things. So when you have somebody that's in ownership, that's a team player, and that's there every single day, it makes a big difference. Because when I come in and I help try to build a brand, it makes it easier when somebody's there that's actually cares that much about his brand or his store as much as I do. So like Dean said, you're putting forth all the effort, you're putting forth all the work, and you want to see that somebody else has that same interest and be able to move along with you. But then once you get on the same page with the two guys, me and Jamil, once we're on the same page, the rest of it's history. The other guys fall right in place. You can't have a brand, you can't have a store with high expectations and not meet it with one person in the front or one person in the back. So everybody has to play along. Everybody has to buy into it. Everybody has to be well versed in what it is to be a Traffic Jams team member. So when that customer experience comes about and the customer's not happy, then we all collectively figure it out. Because we don't want what we advertise online, the brand that they see, the store they see online, and everything, you want that to be live as well. So you don't want that, oh, they came in, it looks so good, they got great reviews, they have this, they have that, and they come in and like, man, this was really crappy. You got to actually live up to that high expectation. And the Store Culture Award itself, man, that was like, I won't say it was better than the retail runner-up, but it was very, very exciting. because we do believe that our brand, that our culture is different than anybody else's. We put a lot of effort in that, even just in general. Before we even become a part of Knowledge Fest, that meant a lot. 3 years ago, we went to our first Knowledge Fest, and we went to the awards, and then we just didn't really understand it. And then we saw it, and we became involved the following year, and we saw all the stuff. And then we got our puppies kicked a couple of times because we being new, we didn't understand what was going on, but we knew that we had a great culture, so we thought we had a pretty good chance with the best for culture last year and the year before last. And not coming away with that award hurt a little bit. So we even went back to the store. We call it the lab. We went back to the lab and got better.
It fueled the fire a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right. So, the takeaway there, from what I hear, is, obviously a tremendous passion from the top all the way to the bottom. And not only that, but consistency and being able to deliver on the expectation and the visual as far as the impression the customer gets, from the moment they say hello or give you a call or text you or show up in person. Pretty much wraps it up. Chris, I'm going to swing it back to you to close this out.
Yeah, since it's our show, I'll give 5 more minutes in here.
All right.
There you go.
You said it's okay. We can keep going.
Every single, except for me, but all of you were award winners at the last awards and have been award winners, some of you at past awards as well. Congratulations for that. But, really a lot of what the awards is about is, when we ask you to do a video, we want to teach you to do marketing. If you can't market yourself, you're not going to be successful as a retailer. You're not going to be successful as a human being. You got to be able to market who you are. And I don't worry, and sorry for the play on words, Dean, but I don't worry about the 5 stars. I don't worry about the traffic jams.
No,
what I worry about is the guys that are in the 1.5 to 2 star range.
Yeah.
That are trying to get the 3 star. And I mostly, what keeps me up at night is retailers that I know can be better, but choose not to. And they don't choose not to because they just don't want to be good retailers. They sometimes just don't know how to get out of that loop. And store culture can be a good thing if you've got a good one. But when you've got a bad store culture, it can be toxic. And the problem with that toxicity is that we have customers, consumers all over the country that are going into both traffic jams and 5-star and these other folks. And these other folks are part of our industry. So the whole crux behind Knowledge Fest was to get the ones that are rock stars like you guys to teach others how to become rock stars. Not to intimidate them and say, you got to be better, but just say, look, we've all been in the same place. We've all been down that road of where we don't feel good enough for our game. Ron, you said, you went to the awards. I don't understand it. Okay, I'm going to work to understand it. Well, then I did understand it. I didn't get there. So the next year I'm going to get there. And that's what every retailer in the country needs to drive towards. It's not about the awards. The awards is just a vehicle to recognize those that have gone above and beyond. But every retailer, every business person, every manufacturer, and including us, need to do what's best so the customers out there in our industry are impressed with our industry and want to spend more of their money here in our industry and not somewhere else. So that's really what keeps me up. And that's why we drive Knowledge Fest home when it comes to education. And we thank all of the manufacturers that have supported us throughout the years and continue to support us, because that's what provides this peer-to-peer, or you learned how to do it good, now you're teaching somebody else how to do it good. And that's how Knowledge Fest works. And, I appreciate the opportunity. I love seeing the store culture. I probably look at some of your Facebook pages more than you can imagine because I like to see what's going on. Yep. Now, I'd like to be able to travel around the country and look at everything, but I can't.
And there's so many hours of work that go sometimes unrecognized to build that store culture, whether it's through creative platforms like YouTube, whether it's through training videos, whether it's through your local community stuff. So it's so important that you hear. Chris nailed it on the head. That, you have to connect the dots. And if just by example with the people that are on this panel tonight, these people have connected dots. So if you're listening to this, take that as a takeaway. Reach out to them, connect the dots, because it leads to good places.
The number one thing that I can say about developing or beginning to develop a good store culture is communication.
I would say that would be the foundation.
Together every week and meet and talk. Mm-hmm. Take time to talk and communicate. It's a relationship between you and your employees that pours out to your customers when they come in. So make sure that you're communicating.
All right. Well, guys,
Agreed.
we can go for another hour, but we're going to have to loop back and have to do this another time. I want to thank each and every one of our guests today. So we've got Dean from 5-Star, of course, Jeff from AAMP, Ron Venable representing Traffic Jam Motorsports, and the Chief, Chris Cook from Mobile Electronics. Guys, it's been a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you guys.
And there you have it, guys. Another CMA Roundtable special edition coming to you from KnowledgeFest West Live. Of course, I would be not doing ourselves justice if I didn't mention that we have a gargantuan event kicking off tomorrow morning known as CMA Industry Week. You've seen that promo in the beginning. Check it out if you're interested in 12-volt electronics, you're in the business. We've got a ton of great brands, over 100 hours of content over the next 9 days that we're going to roll out in this platform. I get to go out there and talk and chat and learn. So join me, join the discussion, watch it, CanadianMobileAudio.com. Hey, it's been a hoot. We look forward to bringing you some content, hopefully at every Knowledge Fest. If you like the roundtable, give us a shout, drop us a message, and we'll be sure to keep this going. On that note, I'm your host, Ben Wu. Thanks for tuning in to CMA, presented by SiriusXM. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with even more exclusive content that you can't find anywhere else. Like over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music ad-free. Root for your team anywhere you are. Get news from every source. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars and what's going on right now. And now your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home on devices like smart TVs, connected speakers, and more. For the first time, create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Enjoy a backstage pass to your favorite shows with SiriusXM Video, including Howard Stern and more. The best part? It's all included in your all-access trial subscription. Start enjoying it all in your vehicle, on your phone, online, and at home today. What you love is on now.